Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Good Grief. I'm so glad that you joined us on this fine day, and I want to welcome our two hosts, and I appreciate you. Crazy Mary Town and Kim Possible 711. Take it away, ladies. Take it away.
Good afternoon. Hey, hey.
Hey,
Hey,
hey, how
Kim.
y'all
Hey,
doing?
STL.
Hey, Crazy Berry Town.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
STL, how are you doing today? Another week. Well, let me see. Is this your first full week, I think, right, in Texas?
Actually, it's my second, believe it or not. I've been
Lord.
here. This is 2 weeks as of Wednesday. So I tell you, it's
Wow.
really flying. Time is just really flying by.
I know.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is.
Yes.
It
How's
Yes.
it
is.
going?
I love it. It's a major transition. So I'm just trying to keep up with myself.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it's a great experience being down here. I love where I am. It's so strange that one of my classmates, somebody that I knew from way back in the day, she was in the little town where my dad's church was, that's in no
Hmm.
man's land. Then she relocated to my school out in Bonner Springs, got here and found out she's my neighbor. So I tell you, that's really crazy. That's
Wow.
absolutely
Small
unbelievable. So
world.
she's up the street and around the corner. Small world, small world. So she's been giving me all the, down here you have to water your foundation so that it doesn't shift. I mean, that's some crazy stuff. I've never heard of water
Oh.
your foundation and just all kind of little
Mm.
tips down
Water
here.
your foundation, like literally?
Yes, because the ground shifts. If you notice in Texas, there are no basements. The ground shifts
Mm.
just that much.
Oh
I
my
didn't know
God.
there were no basements in
I
Texas.
didn't
No
either.
basements in Texas, so you're on
Wow.
flat
Hmm.
slabs. But as she
Interesting.
explained to me, you got to go out when it's really dry spells. Where I think she said we're like 43 days down here with no real significant rain. So they allow you now. You can't water your lawn; that's restricted. And they'll talk about you watering. You know how much water you use in the house, but they allow you to freely water your foundation because I guess that's where your investment is. So
Mm.
uh, some crazy stuff. So she's like, go out early in the morning and water one side, or this is the way she does it, and go out late in the evening and water the other side, and just wrote. That's some crazy stuff. So yeah, I'm learning some things.
Wow.
Well, as I got down here and found a tree that literally mists, and I've never experienced that. I don't know if you guys have or not, but I looked at it the first day, and I looked at my nephew. I said, "Is it raining?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Do you see that?" And it was like, "Yeah." I mean, it literally up under the tree looks like it's raining. That's just
Wow. I saw that
crazy.
video. That was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, some crazy stuff, but I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of
Wow.
it.
That's
But
good.
thank you for asking.
That's good. Yeah, we were talking last week, last week before we went live, and we were talking about, the word new and
Yes,
this new experience for you. Yeah.
loving it, loving it.
That's
I feel
awesome.
great. Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
At some point, we'll talk about what, just the idea of just like picking up and moving. Was it something that you were thinking about doing? Was it something that you went out there and was like, I think I want to move and just did it?
I'm gonna tell you what. When my mother passed away, my siblings and I kind of decided. My sister has a son in Prosper, which is about 25, 30 minutes drive from me, and he's built a beautiful house, and definitely wanted her to come stay with him at the point in time that was a possibility. So she didn't want to leave because she didn't want to leave myself, my siblings, and of course at that time my mom. And then after my mom passed away, and it just seemed like a good time to make that transition for she and her husband. And so I talked to my other sister, who has been away from Kansas City area the majority of her life. And I
Mm.
was like, after mom died, it was kind of like we were going to look for a house together. Then after she passed away, it was kind of like, well, what do you think? She's like, whatever you want to go, it's cool with me. Nothing's holding us here.
Hmm.
So at that point, it was kind of loosely that we'll make the transition. However, when I brought my sister and them down the first part of July, I thought I was just dropping them off. And while I was here, a house came up and boom, 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 48 hours, I had a house. So yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
that's
That
how
was
that,
meant to be.
It
yes,
really
Yeah.
was. And
really,
I was thinking about that in conjunction with grief, because you talked about, after your mother passing, and how sometimes change of scenery, change of space,
yes,
is a part of the process.
yes, yes. And check this out. My mother's name is Anna, and the town that I moved into is Anna. So
That is amazing. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. That is awesome.
Go figure.
Confirmation all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's been real comforting. It's been real nice. I go out and sit up under the tree and just chat and chit chat with her. And
that's beautiful.
That wind telephone is like, hey, I just go to the tree and we just chat. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. It just warms my heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Kim Possible, what's new with you, girl? I love your hair and a little blonde, honey. You better do it.
Child, I had to get my hair redone. And when you were getting your hair done on the free, and then you actually had to pay somebody, had to do some comparison shopping here in the ATL, because everybody and their grandmama got a braid shop somewhere, and the price, I was like, you know what? Okay, so I did find one of the little girls who was a youth and a child at my home church is now braiding. So she's doing several of my friends, their kids and all of that. So I went to her house and we got to bond and catch up, because of course, last time I saw her, she was still in high school. And now she has graduated from college and started braiding last year and has her own braid business. And so she hooked the sister up, child, last week.
She did, yeah.
Looking fabulous as always.
She did a good job.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about today, like what we would talk about. Actually, I was thinking about this last week, and then last week which happens often, and I love it. We just kind of went in our own way, but STL brought up the move, and one of the things we talked about before we went live was the word new. And sometimes, we when we talk about grief, first of all, welcome everybody. I didn't even say that. I was welcoming.
Yes, hey everybody.
The co-host. What's up, y'all? How you doing? Good to see everybody.
Going on this Cox truck driver, the rebel, Lady T, Nicole. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, please say a prayer for Lady T, Nicole. She has COVID and her two daughters. So please say a prayer for them for healing and feeling better. Hopefully, Lady T, Tiff, you are feeling, getting a little better every day. Definitely praying for you and the girls. I know it's not fun and just feel like crud. So just every day, I hope it just a little by little, and then it gets bigger and bigger. You feel better and you're on your way to 100%. So sending love to you. And thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as we're, starting our chat, first, wait, Truck Driver is here. And Truck Driver said in Rebel Stream, first of all, Rebel, let me just say, you're out of control. Like,
listen,
like what? Why are you like this?
Let me just back up to the bishop just one quick second, because
I love it. I
also found the bishop, and the bishop was soliciting hugs first, and then he was soliciting a wife, and then there's yet another video where he has, he doesn't act holy whatsoever. He ain't reading scripture. He not doing any of that. So I based my vote on that third video that we did not see, because I know that he really is after some nibbles and bits for sure.
That's what he really wants. That's what he's not
married or not, whether it's a wife or not. That's irrelevant. He just looking.
I gotta see that video.
Somebody,
yes,
spend a little time with. So
yes.
So when we peel away the layers, we see his motive here.
Yes,
I saw it.
That's why I said, how many videos does dude have? I guess he's trying to, cater to different audiences.
Right.
If this one doesn't work, then I'll try to, the Christian ladies.
It's all like it depends on who's watching it, right? So
right. Yes. But if that one doesn't work, then I'm looking for some thoughts, whatever, whoever's gonna bite is what I'm after.
Exactly.
Yeah, the cracks.
Rebel is dope. He wants a pet wussy. That's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And honestly, he
so-
might have one in the interim. That's the reason why he's making all these videos, because now he wants more. Mhm.
Isn't that beautiful?
So, yeah.
Okay, so I need somebody to explain. I asked this question in the chat, and nobody answered me.
Uh-huh.
What is a pet wussy? What is that? What
Oh
are we saying?
Lord.
Explain it.
I mean, I think I know what we're saying, but then you said Reason. I'm like, well, Reason got in out, so he don't need a pet. He got it already. So is this somebody that's looking outside of a relationship?
That's right, Joanna. Just turn those letters around. Joanna said those letters are just mixed.
Oh,
Right.
all right. Oh, okay. Thank you. Listen, I can be a little slow sometimes, and I don't have no shame in asking for clarity.
Listen, no need to have any shame at all.
Help the
We
sister
all-
out. I want to be clear about what I'm saying. I don't want to use
Right.
it in the wrong
Right.
context.
And because some things are literal, you know, sometimes like it some things are literal and some are play on words. And so I get it. I get that. That's
I
not
get it.
slow.
Speaking of context and along this line, there was a preacher that got up and preached, and he was saying, you know, you preachers get up and you be taking that stuff all out of context.
Context.
Since she said context, that just
Jeez.
triggered my memory.
He was probably kept on like he was talking.
And he
right.
knew he said it right. He knew he said it right. Sir,
Well, you know, I
that is a
love
sanitary
him.
napkin. That is not.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
So for context, I just had to get that in there for context. But anyway,
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah.
crazy great time.
Thank
Let me bring it on back.
No, my stomach hurts from laughing so much. So much so that some of us needed drinks. And so truck driver said he needed a stiff drink. So for my brother, I've got us a shot of Crown here.
I got a bottle of water.
Hey, look at that. All right.
Mango.
We
Oh,
ready today.
it's all mango. Somebody gave this to me. I was
Let me
like,
put it down because I'm laughing too much. I'm going to spill it.
I'll try it. I need some ice, but other than that, we good.
Well, this is can't even get it together. So truck driver inspired me, but this is for you, truck driver. And I'm just gonna say a cheers, do a toast to all of us here today. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy healing.
A cheers
Yes.
with my unopened bottle. Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers and all of
Cheers.
that. So cheers to everyone. And here's to, again, good health and happy healing and a great weekend. Cheers.
Yes. Please turn
Happy
this
Friday.
water into wine.
Ding.
Yeah.
I did not bring my water bottle.
Ooh,
with me,
that
so
tastes like
if I-
another one.
If I start unscrewing the top, y'all gonna know we done entered into some real interesting territory.
See.
You might not switch the letters of pet wussy. It might be something else. I mean, oh my God.
Okay.
Listen, Berrytown, Kim Possible, Crazy Berrytown has had interpretation of tongues today.
She
She's got
does.
word of knowledge,
She
word of
absolutely
wisdom.
does.
She's got prophecy working on her. She got everything. So she
I'm
done
getting there.
into existence. So you better get ready.
Hey. We don't know what's gonna happen because what did the
Rebel.
rebel just put in the chat? What brought that on? Did I miss something?
See, I mean, I you see what I'm saying?
Hold
She
on.
on one today.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, okay.
I know, Lady T. I know. I'm hopeful and prayerful that you are on your way to
Yes.
100% healing. Yeah, that is. I know it's not a good feeling at all, especially in your parenting. Being sick and parenting sucks.
Yes. Yes.
And then parenting sick children also. So yeah, it's a bit much. Let's see. So truck driver, you'll be home in about an hour and you'll have your drink. All right. Well, in another hour, I'll take another shot. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will have a shot today. Trust that. I definitely.
all
will have a
right.
shot.
Yes.
It's been one of those type of weeks. So-
Well, all right then. Sorry that you had such a rough week, but let's go with the shots, okay? Let's go.
Hey, hey.
Yes,
Hey,
definitely.
sweet Jamaica, welcome.
Sweet
Real Red. Yeah, so yeah, you all are in the right place. This is good grief.
Yeah, it still is good grief. We know we do laugh in here. We do get a little. We can go off track slightly, but we'll bring it on in. Just
We
hold
take
on.
left and go up the street and around the corner and come
Yes.
back eventually.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but I think that's a good thing though, right? I think
It is.
we need that. So hey King Gucci, good to see you. Welcome.
Hey, King Gucci.
So here's what I want you all to think about and to share in the chat. So STL just talked about her move and and her thought process of change and doing something different after her mother's passing. And sometimes and we know this, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, and I'm sure many of you have experienced this, but sometimes in our pain and in our brokenness and in grief, newness comes out of that. Sometimes it's forced, like, some of us are forced to change and do new things and be different and feel different. But I want to hear from you all today. How has your grief, whatever the loss is, jobs, physical illness, things like that, like disabilities, loss of income, loss of loved ones, lifestyle, anything. What has your grief, what newness has your grieving brought into your life? Is it new thought patterns? And it doesn't necessarily even have to be good, right? But it's just something new and something different. What has grown out of your grief? What's different about you? Your location, your thoughts, got a new hairdo? I don't know. But new relationships? I don't know. So talk to us today in the chat, and we'll read it and talk about it. But what is new with you as a result of your loss and your grief? And so again, if you're just joining us, STL, and you all know, if you've been in her chat, you know that she has moved to Texas. And she said earlier, just a few minutes ago, that the thought process around that began after her mom passed. And so we were talking about this last week, and I thought that was a really good kind of segue into the stream, which we didn't get to last week. So we're talking about that today. Okay. So King Kuji, loss of self forced me to grow differently. Yes. Yeah. I definitely can identify with that. And if you'd like to share more about that, please do. Sweet Jamaica does not have, you said, I don't have the desire to do anything at home. My dinner table has crap piled on it. Yeah, totally get that. Yeah. Sometimes the new, and this is interesting too, because I know, and Kim, you might have experienced this in grief, helping others, or maybe in yourself, but I've seen this with people who are very productive and go and on top of things. And then as a result of a loss, all of that has changed. I don't know if it's, I don't want to say vigor, but just that oomph has gone away. And so, and they don't even recognize, they're like looking around their house or, checking their texts, and they're not hearing from friends, or they're not texting. Something new or something different has happened. So definitely I can see where that has some impact. Only one Mrs. Cox, my thoughts in life in general, learning to live every day to its fullest. I love that. Being intentional about spending more time with loved ones.
Nice.
Tawana's Twitch, I've learned to appreciate the people in my life more. So along those same lines, I'm more intentional about keeping in touch with my friends, family, and even acquaintances, and tell them how much I love and appreciate them.
Yes.
Let's see. Truck driver, okay, I see what you said. You need this today because tomorrow's going to be a hard one. We are thinking about you, and also sending our condolences in your loss, and thinking about you. And we will definitely be thinking about you tomorrow. Listen, you have my information. Holler at your girl if you need me. I have no plans tomorrow other than just some stuff around the house. So just know we're all here at Good Grief. We're all thinking about you and holding you close, and your family.
Yes.
To our hearts.
Definitely.
Let's see. King Kuji. Oh, so Sweet Jamaica says, I'm trying to live life more. Yeah. Also, King Kuji said, when you go through a big change that was not done under your own power, you have to either complain about what is or change according to the situation. MCP812, I can't clutter. I think maybe keep clutter in my space, been getting rid of a lot of material things. Yeah, you can't stand clutter. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So yeah, I think for some of us, particularly like what King Kuji said, we're not in control of some things, particularly loss, right? And we have a couple of options: either change and go with it, or struggle a little bit. So I think that is a good point to make. Now that I like this idea, or not necessarily like, but I appreciate MCP, the idea of getting rid of things, whereas sometimes people do the other. They can't, they're what's the word? They're stuck almost in their stuff.
They're stuck. That's what that whole show about hoarding,
right?
comes from people who have had losses. I mean, if you really look at the stories behind those folks, which is why when those people come in, they're also utilizing someone from a therapy perspective, a licensed therapist or counselor, to come in and help them kind of process why they're holding on to these things. And in my own personal life, I remember early, like maybe in my, early in my 40s, I was going through a place where I was just like holding on to a bunch of stuff. And I remember just kind of talking it through with the therapist and praying about it. And the thing that was revealed was that I was holding on to stuff because I was grieving the life that I wanted. Because at that point, I really wanted to be married. I really wanted to have children. And I was entering into this life. I'm in seminary and I'm going out of obedience, but I don't really want to do this. But okay, I'm not going to tell the Lord no. But my reaction was, I'm trying to hold on to this life prior to ministry. And so I can absolutely relate to those people that go through that, because, being able to release things also says that you're going through the healing process of it all, because you recognize that, holding on to stuff doesn't change anything, because life is going to keep moving whether you're moving along with it or not. But you just have to stop, and it's your mind's way of trying to hold on to something that's no longer there. And the same is true for loss of job, loss of relationships, any type of loss that we have, or any type of trauma that we have. So some of those people had losses of loved ones, and they were just stuck in the moment and could not move past it at the default of just keeping stuff as a way. I couldn't hold on to my loved one, but now I'm trying to hold on.
Oh, right.
So you have to acknowledge that, okay, I'm hurt, I'm broken. This does not feel good. I don't like what's happening. But holding on to this stuff does not bring your loved one back. Holding on to this stuff does not change the situation. If anything, it's hindering you from moving forward because you're stuck in this space. So that's one way that I personally have had to deal with certain things, and seeing other people deal with it. Because when you get to the place of really wanting to let go of stuff, then you're really at a place of healing and moving forward.
Yeah, that is very real, and I think many people can identify. And you're right. I'm glad you made that connection to the show Hoarders, because I remember reading years ago when that show first kind of was becoming popular. People were on social media and whatever, message boards would say, why do they have a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whatever the term is, or a therapist there? And then when you get towards the middle of the show, a lot of the deep down came out. And for many, I haven't watched the show that much. I'm shady. And I watched the show purely to feel better about my house. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't feel that bad. Like, I'm looking around at a touch of here and some unfolded clothes here. And then I look at Hoarders. I'm like, all right, I'm straight. But I watched a few episodes, and again, I don't watch many. I haven't watched a lot, but strangely enough, most of the backstory and the deep down issues were related to grief. They lost someone, a divorce, and they were really struggling with, being single and trying to, live alone, and they wanted the marriage. And then of course, death in their lives and things like that. So, I mean, that King Kuji sort of touched on that. You either, I think, let me see, you said there's a time to be mad and complain, but it's not where you stay. But some people do, right? And sometimes it shows itself in clinging on to things, because you can't cling on to what has left. So that's a really good point, a really interesting connection. Only one, Mrs. Cox. Yes, the ONU, you needed that. Sad
Yeah.
for, and sorry to hear of your losses. Your friend who passed of cancer on July 5th, and then a classmate on July 12th, and then another on the
Wow.
15th. So we are sorry and
Sorry
send
to
our
hear that.
condolences to you and to all those who loved those people. Again, and it's good you acknowledged that you needed that. You needed to go, because some people may go the other way and be like, well, I'm not going. You planned this trip, you planned this meetup, not planned the meetup, but planned to be at the meetup. And you might have said, forget it, but what you need. And that sort of also speaks to what King Kuji said as well, is, at some point, yes, we're going to experience loss and feel what we feel. And then at some point that is right for us, we're going to move forward. And it's important to recognize that for yourself and when that is comfortable. And so for you, Only One, Mrs. Cox, that was, right on time to go to that meetup in Ohio. And I'm not going to talk about how jealous I was, but anyway, is bipolar grief a thing? I swing from hyperproductive to paralysis. Professionally and technically, I don't know, but can I say that I have experienced that? Yes, I have. Like, yes, completely.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have heard it called bipolar grief, but that is just a symptom of grief in and of itself, where you can go from being really, really productive to these days when you just really can't move and can't focus and, are almost in this state of depression where you just don't want to do anything. And that can go on for days. And then all of a sudden you can pick yourself up and then get back to doing whatever it was that you were doing. So, but I'll look into that if that's a real name of that thing.
Yeah, because I know the feeling is definitely, at least with me, and I'm sure many others. Sherelle Red Grimm, and I believe you've shared your story about your mom, but once again, we offer our condolences and send love to you in the loss of your beautiful mother. She was 94, and you said, I used to make her laugh. I was so afraid in my heart during the days of prep of her homegoing service and everything. I love the moment I saw my beautiful mom in the funeral home. All fear left me at the moment. She looked like a queen at peace with the Lord, and it gave me an immediate feeling of healing and strength. My grieving period was very short. And I'm glad you shared that, because some people don't know what to do with that. Like, I've heard people talk about that, and they've, I've heard the other side of it too. It's, seeing their loved one for the first time, it made them upset. But I've heard from many people saying they felt this sort of peace and possibly healing. And they felt strange. Like, they're like, I shouldn't feel this way. I should feel bad. I should continue to feel this heavy grief. And I'm really glad you shared that, because there might be someone listening today who might have felt that. And for you to share that, I appreciate that, because I think sometimes people feel like when, I don't know, when they don't feel a certain way, or they don't feel the way people expect them to feel, that's somehow not right, or it's wrong. And so I'm glad that you felt that. And you said in the last line, my grieving period was short. So thank you for sharing that. Truck driver said, I have learned. So in his newness, I've learned to take care of self and not worry about things that I have no control of. When my mother was here, she did a lot of worrying about my brother that made her health go down fast. So you saw what stress and worrying can do. And you are now sort of you've learned that lesson for yourself and taking care of yourself, particularly. And again, we're all kind of chiming in on each other's points. Again, back to what King Kuji said, you don't have the control. You worry about things we don't have control over, and it might affect our lives. Stress is harmful to us in many ways. So I appreciate that. Lady Tina Cole says she can relate. My dad passed away May 2021, and I'm just in a place where I can move his things out of my house. Yeah, I mean, that also is something that takes time. And, the ushering in the newness, and that newness could be new feelings, new feelings of comfort. And now you're at this point, a little over a year where you can consider moving those things out of your house. And that's a big step. Hey, John Studios, welcome. Yeah, hoarding is a disorder for not being able to let things go. Yeah, and those things could be, and what I've learned from the show too, is the things, those things that people have are really symbolic for the things that they've lost or they don't have. Again, the relationship, a loved one. There was a woman, I was just watching it not too long ago, with Captain Boots. We were watching it. It just happened to be on, and he just wanted to see what it was. And the woman, she had lost her husband, and she was a work from home mom. She was a stay-at-home mom, and then she worked. But he did everything. He paid the bills. He was the primary breadwinner. Long story short, she was kind of crippled. And she admitted, towards the end of the show, that she was just kind of waiting for someone to come and rescue her. He did everything. And so as a result of her just sort of sitting back, stuff was just piling up. She was just kind of crippled in her grieving. And she was also, it was comfortable. She said it was comfortable. I felt safe. And her kids admitted that prior to their father passing, the house didn't look like that. She had that vim and vigor. She was her best self. And now with this loss, things just kind of went down. And so she, was holding on to these physical things because she was grieving the loss of what she really wanted and she couldn't have. So yeah. Tiffany says his cup is still sitting on the Keurig. Yeah, listen, my mother, so, she would drive down here all the time. So she didn't have to pack. It didn't matter anyway, because she drove, but she would just leave stuff. She had her own dresser in the bedroom in the back. And Tiffany, you were just here. So, you've seen her gold slippers. I just cannot take them out of the room. And not too long ago, maybe about a year ago, I said I was going to move them, and Captain Boots and my husband were like, no, they're sort of like the keeper of the room, like when they're right at the door. So when you walk in the door, her gold slippers, because she was real fancy, they're literally gold, like lame. Slippers are sitting at the front, right at the door in the back bedroom. And I just, after they said it, I was like, I really didn't want to move them anywhere. I just thought it was time. But I get that. And I think a lot of us experience that as well. Yeah, Sherelle Red Graham, I'm grateful that the Lord gave me my mom for most of my adult life. I found out that having a habitual, grateful, and positive outlook on life through my fears when I stay grateful and positive. My awareness of God has given me a comforting and satisfying. As I know that Jesus is with me and be positive, I find that touching God is easier than trying to feel Jesus in my hand. You are absolutely right. And again, I thank you for sharing, because somebody might be struggling today and not sure which way to lean. They might be and struggling in a couple of ways. Again, sometimes people, feel like, I felt guilty in early months when I felt good, when I had a good day. And I knew, even though you all know my struggle with the Lord, even though I knew he was there and he was protecting me and comforting me and taking care of me, I had those good days and I knew it was because of him, right? But I felt bad about it. But I knew where my comfort resides. I knew that, but I still felt bad. So I appreciate you sharing where your joy comes from and how you have moved forward, not moved on. There's a difference. How you've moved forward and continue to walk with that faith. And so that is really, yeah, other family members shunned me for that. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. People expect you to, wear black for the rest of your life and hold your head down, right? So I appreciate you sharing that. John, after losing my dad 4 years ago, I found that mourning of grief is not linear. Yep. Kim, we've talked about that. It comes and goes randomly and in waves. Last week and this week have been tough, just out of nowhere. I just miss him. You still have your
Mhm.
his phone number saved in your phone. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still have several people's phone numbers saved in my phone. I mean, granted, there's a note there, but that's not unusual at all because, again, grief is not linear, as you said. You can go from anger to acceptance to disbelief to outright rage. You can go, from being slothful to being
Mhm.
highly energetic to all of these different things. I was talking to somebody the other day, and just the scents and the smells, because she lost her husband last year. And I
Okay.
mean, a young couple, I mean, in their early
Oh,
40s, they'd only
no.
been married 2 years, and he had cancer and passed away. And so it's been a year now since he's passed away. And she was talking about just the songs and the scents and even food that, he would cook. And if she gets a whiff of something,
Mhm.
then, it's a wrap.
Mhm.
And so it's just a day by day scenario. There are good days and then there are not so good days. And she's got family that's trying to tell her she needs to move on and she needs to start dating again. And of course, she's not ready to do any of that.
Yeah.
So, people have their own understandings of certain things, but for you, as us as individuals, we know what we need and and how long it's going to take us. And again, there's no expiration date or time clock that's going to go off that says
Mhm.
that today is the day when you're supposed to have let everything go
Right.
and everything is just supposed to be good. It could be 2 years, it could be 10 years. Because when you've loved somebody, that does not go away.
Mhm.
So I
That's
can
what we
I
said
do
last week. Yeah.
in certain instances, I smile about memories more than I cry, but I still cry. My
Yeah.
grandmother's been dead since 1991,
Yeah.
and there will be times that I think of her or have a smell or a food or something that
Mhm.
reminds me of her, and I will cry instantaneously
Mhm.
and make
Yep.
no apology for that. So
Yeah, this is
grace,
true.
self grace as you grieve.
Mhm. Yeah, grace as you grieve, and also, you know, back to what Sherelle was saying, and grace for yourself when you aren't maybe in a
Mm,
place where everyone else thinks you should be. Like Sherelle was saying, she was shunned by family
mm,
members. Some people, you moved on or whatever. And again, what we all agree on, we've talked about this, is that there's no timeline. As John said, it's not linear. And also, too, the process of grieving is also different for some people. Somebody said earlier they hold on to things, and somebody said they've given it away, including the farm. So and everybody, even the process of
mhm.
grieving is different. So no matter your process, yeah, and of course we can't say don't look at what other people are doing. When we're here, we're talking about grief. You're out in these streets, talking to people, whatever. You do see how other people are doing things. So give yourself grace, no matter where you are on your grief journey. Good or bad, how whatever you term you use, and however
Mhm.
you feel, give yourself grace, and a pat on the back, right? Um, I was talking to a friend last week at a pool party. Captain Boots had a birthday party, and it was another mom. I don't say she's a friend; she's another mom, and the kids are in school together, and she just lost her stepfather. And so, someone who was sitting there with us, um, and there are many analogies for grief and grief over time. I'm sure we've seen diagrams and things, but she was talking about how her mom passed years ago, like 20 something years ago, and how she still feels sad, because the woman who had just experienced the loss, literally her stepfather had died the day before that party. So I think the party was Sunday. So that last Saturday, he passed. And she was just like,
Mhm.
I just feel so overwhelmed. I feel like I'm just never, ever going to be right. And the woman sitting next to us said that when she was in therapy, they brought in a box so they could see this analogy. And there's a box that had, she had strangely that Staples button, but it was the only thing she could find, and then a ball. And she closed the box and shook the box, and that ball, because that Staples button was kind of big, it kept hitting it like every 2 shakes. Boop, boop, boop. It kept hitting it. But then there was a smaller button. It looked like the Staples button was a little bit different. Same ball, which is the person, same ball, but a smaller button. And she shook it. And instead of every 2 shakes or so, it was like every 5 or 6 shakes, it would hit that button. And her point is in the beginning, we're going to feel that heavy grief. We're going to feel, we're going to keep hitting that grief button, right? Because it's bigger. And eventually it's going to get a little bit smaller, but something, that food, that scent, that memory, that TV show. For me, it might be driving down the street and my mom and I used to eat at that restaurant. It might be walking in the back bedroom, and that particular day, 1 out of 30, 40 days, her bedroom slippers hit that button. And that stuck with me. I thought about that all week. And I just remembered it just now. Because, I normally, especially when we're doing this stream, I was trying to think about throughout the week what we can talk about. And I had forgotten about it until just now, but it made such sense that we're here, right? We're that ball, but that button, the bigger it was, she said she kept shaking it. It just kept hitting it over and over. And then she took it out and put in the smaller button. And then it was just every 5, 6, 7 shakes. Then it would hit it. Keep shaking, nothing. Then it would hit it. And I think that's, we all, and again, how quickly our button gets smaller and how much we're shaking in that box, that is different for all of us, And it also goes to what John said. It's not linear. It's not that we're just all over the place in that box, right? Sometimes we're going to hit that button. Sometimes we're not, Sometimes it's going really, really fast. Sometimes it's not. And that's what I think. And there's also, there's a diagram too of grief where it is like a straight line. And then next to it, it's all like this, right? It's just all jumbled up. And that's really, I think, it's real. It's really real in how grief goes. Even those 5 stages, I think, it's cute. I do believe there's some validity to the 5 stages of grief. But it's still a little bit jumbled too. It's not, even those 5 stages aren't linear. I think again, there's some truth to it, right? There's some truth to those stages and how you feel that, is it denial and anger and disbelief, whatever. I think all those are true. How and when they happen, that's another story. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Just scrolling down the chat here. Thank you, everybody. You all are chatty today. I love it. Get into it.
Yes.
Let's go. So I appreciate it. And again, and this is why we're here, because, we've said this, I've said this a zillion times, that sometimes we don't feel comfortable just chatting about how we feel just in random, maybe everyday conversations. And I love that we have this space so you can share what's on your heart today and next week and the next week. So I appreciate you all sharing your thoughts today.
Yeah. And we didn't talk about this earlier, but we lost one of our own Twitch fam, MC Rio, earlier in the week. So, as a Twitch family, we're all grieving the loss of just an amazing man. I'm personally in a state of disbelief still about that. So
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like he's come to our chat. I think he's come to Good Grief once. If I'm not mistaken, I think so. So yeah, sending love and condolences to his family and friends and all who knew and loved him. MC Rio, if you don't know, many of you might know DJ Droopy. And he, I don't know, was he a moderator for him?
He was his actual MC. So on Tuesdays and Fridays, DJ Droopy, being the silent assassin, would just DJ, and MC Rio would MC, so that that Droopy could truly focus on just, playing the music. And he was just amazing with that. He had started to stream on Saturdays at noon himself, and just having some type of talk, and he'd have a different topic, and it was starting to gain momentum. So he probably done that
Oh yeah.
for about a month or so before all of this. So it's just really a shock.
Yeah. Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very surprised to hear that and just sad. Yeah, that was awful. Um, so yeah, just scrolling through the chat. Yeah, love and condolences to him.
Mhm.
And Twana's Twitch, I've been able to heal so much by coming here. Thank you. And sharing with you and knowing that I'm not alone. That's so important. It really is. Grief is or can be lonely. Um, and I have felt that way. I have. I mean, not since we've been together, but prior to coming to Twitch and meeting all of you and being here at Good Grief. But I have felt that loneliness and thinking, knowing now, and even then I knew it. But I still felt that way. But I just felt like I was alone and no one would get it. And I knew that wasn't true. I mean, I lived with, you know, a person who lost his mom. My husband lost his mom before I did, and so I knew he knew, and he um, is a man of God. Most people would not believe that. You know, you married to, you know, to that crazy lady. But anyway, so I knew I wasn't alone, but I still felt that. So Twana's Twitch, I
Mhm.
appreciate you saying that and sharing that. That you have found healing and knowing, coming here knowing that you're not alone. And that's why we're all here to support each other in that way. And yes, we're blessed to have you and all of you. All of you are a blessing to this stream. Your presence, your comments, some of you have offered advice. I know offline, some of you have chatted and prayed for others. And so you are all a blessing to this community. And it's really a beautiful, beautiful thing. Lady Day, hey, welcome to you.
Hey,
Good to
Lady
see
Day.
you. You said, my daughter doesn't do well with death. She's 13 and lost her grandmother at 5. I had to put her cat down last year that she had for 8 years. And so hard watching her go through so much sadness. Yeah, I can't imagine that feeling, you know, watching your child, especially so young, right?
Mhm.
Because it's hard for them to um, go through that and they're not quite sure what they're feeling and how they're feeling and how to get better. They're not sure, and so we have to support them. So I know
Mhm.
that's tough. So yeah, sending positive vibes and energy your way. um okay, gotcha. I appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Lady
Yeah.
Tina
Thank
calls this
you.
not that he's a man of God, married to a woman
Mhm.
of God. Yeah, just on Tuesdays though. Yeah. That was just kidding, right? Rebel
Not
knows
true.
that
Not true. Not true. Not true.
just kidding. All right, I'm gonna stop with that. All right. So
Yeah, King Coogee was talking about get a grief partner, which we kind of talked about
yeah,
in some of the
absolutely.
earlier streams about having somebody that will be there to just listen and be present with
Mhm.
you in the midst of your grief. All you
Absolutely.
need is one good person to be able to handle whatever it is that you bring when it comes to grief.
Yep.
And I was sharing way back then that, you know, there was a group of us that lost a friend, and we've become that for each other.
Right.
Um, so that, you know, when we're having, and granted, you know, now we do things together. I mean, we talked about new things that have come as a result of losing someone. I'm now friends with folks that she went to college with that she was very close to,
Wow.
because we've all formed this sister circle around the loss of this one person. So, yeah, that's deeply important to have
Mhm.
somebody like a grief buddy, a grief partner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Crazy Berry Town and I are here for
Yep.
that very purpose. If you have some, you know, can't seem to find somebody, whisper us and we will definitely call you back.
Yeah, and this is just a reminder. If you've seen the Discord link going through the chat, Discord is also available. So if you're not quite interested or don't need, you know, like a buddy, but you still want a place to outside of our Fridays here. You know, we're here an hour or so, but you want something in the interim. Spiritual Thought Leaders Discord has 2 channels that are great for us. One is, I think it's called Good Grief, right? And that is where you can post things, how you're feeling, pictures, that have little memes or quotes or inspirational things, whatever, charts, diagrams. We've got it all there. If you just want to check in and just say something, how you're feeling, that's a great place to do that. And then also there's the WIND telephone, which is a place for you to type in the chat something directly to your loved one or loved ones, a way to communicate, air quotes, right? Communicate with them, sort of like writing to them, writing a letter, but it's just on the internet in that space. So those two areas on Discord, Good Grief, just for general grief chit chat, checking in, whatever, and sharing things, also sharing resources, quotes, inspiration. If something hits you and you just want a place to place it and put it, that's your place. And then the WIN telephone is for you to directly say something to those that you want to. So that's a great resource that STL has set up for us. And just a reminder, it's been a little quiet, kind of quiet. And it's not, I'm not being funny or anything. It's just we're busy, right? And some of us are new here to Good Grief, and we may not have mentioned it in the times that you've been here. So that's on Discord. Give it a shot. I think you'll find it great. And we also, we check in there after the stream. We're there most weeks. Some weeks we have things to do, but we're there right after the stream in STL Cafe video.
Yes.
Right. Am I saying that right? Yeah. Like right. STL Cafe video. Yeah. So we're there. So if you want to verbally, get something out or just listen in, we're there for a few minutes after the stream. So Discord is a great tool for us as we go through our grief. My Grief Busters group of people have shifted from my actual family to a unique and very supportive group of people who are just like me in so many ways. Y'all get me. This is healing. Yes, this is, and that's why we're here, right? To be there for each other, because we're like in many ways. We have, again, our grief and what and who we're grieving may be different. But as STL started this off, I don't know how long we've been doing this stream, but she said that grief is the great equalizer. So no matter what it is or who it is, the grief itself unites us here together. So I appreciate all of you being here. Yes, Twitch is a blessing, right? Yeah, it is. It is just for us to be here today. This is through Twitch, but all of the other, all of you, streamers, DJs, gamers, all of us as viewers, it's just such a beautiful, beautiful community. And we are so blessed to have this space. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Monica L. Smith. I think I said hi earlier. I don't remember, but hey, good to see you as well. Hey, girl, hey. So anybody that just jumped in or new, again, if you want to share we have a few minutes, anything, or if there's something else you want to share too, you don't have to stay on necessarily one particular topic, but we always like to sort of have something in our back pocket in case we're not going to the left. But if there's anything else you all want to share today with us. So we talked about or started talking about what's new with us as a result of our grief, what's different, and what changes have come about as a result of our grief. Also, if you want to share anything today, how are you feeling? Anything that's on your heart. Many of you already have, so thank you for that. But if something else you want to say, please do. Grace Softly, welcome to you. Good to see you.
Great.
Thank you for being here. Yes, we're not alone. We are not alone. And no matter how I might have felt in the past, like I said, I felt like I was alone in my grief. And I know, even then I knew I wasn't, but I felt it. So it's nice to know every week, barring a few changes to the schedule for whatever reason, every week I know I can come here and be in like company. And I appreciate that. And I look forward to it. I do. Every week I look forward to this. Yeah. Let's see. Lady T. Nicole. Lady T. Nicole and John have been talking about some of their similarities in their relationships with those that they have lost. And so Joanna G and Lady T. Nicole were talking about how when their loved ones passed, their financial situation changed. They relied or were did things and were able to do things as a result of their loved ones. I'll tell you, I agree, y'all. I read that and was like, here. Carolyn was paying for Captain Boots' education. Okay, so when he went to whether it was a babysitter or whatever, she had a special account just for him. And then when he started going to the church school where he was, she was paying for that. And we knew we were going to send him to Catholic school, and she said that she was taking care of that or whatever. And it's been tough to have that immediate big change in our lives. Of course, the loss, but when I saw both of your comments, I totally understood that, and I think about that a lot. I think about that a lot. Of course, we're now coming up next month. Will be 5 years. But look, as the tuition goes up every year, I'm like, Carolyn, just going to drop you into heaven? No,
So then they said the check gonna get sent from an endowment that I'm not aware of in the mail.
I mean, I swear, Lord have mercy. But you know what though? But so and listen, and to STL and Kim, maybe for the fall, because I want to plan this where we can maybe have some resources, but we do need to get back and talk about. We said that we were going to talk about planning. Planning and leaving your loved ones in a good place. I'm not going to say better, whatever. That's good too. But at least in a space where they are not stressed to send you where you got to go, right? Then you have to live your life after. But I will say this, I'm joking, but my mom, she used to joke, and I hated it so bad. She would always say, she was like, girl, I'm worth more to you in death than here on this earth or whatever. And I used to get mad about it, but I also thought she was joking because of course I expected her to live and live off of her retirement for a long time, not the short period of time that she did. But I was going through her checking account because I had access to it, and she collected life insurance policies like Tic Tacs. I'm like, sis, like what? I would see like a debit for this insurance company and a debit for this one, and I was like, okay. So when I saw it, I was in shock. But then after thinking about it, I was like, that was totally my mom. Like, I know she was doing it because she knew it would help us, So his tuition is taken care of, but still I joke about it though, because I knew, that was her plan, but she thought forward, I don't think again, she thought forward to age 68, but she thought beyond that. Anyway, I understand what you're saying. And again, this is why too, I love this, because we can be honest, like, and you all know me. Look, I done had a shot of peach crown, about to have another one. And some peppermints. Look, I done ate up all the peppermints. Rebel got me hooked. Rebel got me all riled up.
Those Redbird peppermints, child. Listen.
Well, wait, look. This is just papers. It's not even. I'm hopped up on sugar and liquor. Okay.
Are you putting the peppermints in the shot glass? Is that?
No, but I should try that. That might be my next.
You should try that.
I don't know, peach and peppermint. I don't know. We'll see.
Peach and peppermint. Hey.
But listen, I might have to share. I might share this in the Discord. So Tiffany, Lady T Nicole, who's here. I don't know if it was Tiffany or our other college friend. We have a group chat. It's the three of us, and they put this peach drink recipe in the chat, in the text. And so you had to like macerate. That's a fancy word for soften up some fruit with sugar. But so I put in a jar. I said, put in a jar thinly sliced fresh peaches, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, sugar, and water. Shake it up. Let it sit overnight.
I got fresh
peaches. So sat overnight. When I get done, I'm about to make this thing. And so you make it. You take the syrup of the peach. So you take the peaches out, mash it up a little bit, and then some fresh mint. Then you take some of the syrup and pour in, and some peach crown. Yo, I'm about to get busy. Let me tell you.
I'm might need to make a run to the new store up the street because I don't have any peach crown on hand.
Y'all got me dying.
But all things peach, Lady Nicole and I talked about this when she was on your stream. I love all things peach. I am truly a Georgia peach for sure. So I love peaches.
Too.
And really anything peach. Peach cobbler, peach anything.
So I can't wait to try it.
We're not going to go there. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about that. That's in the morning conversation. That's the morning conversation. And that's Monday night conversation. But anyway, I digress.
Nibbles and bits conversation.
Nibbles and bits.
So Joanna, yeah, it sounds kind of like a Bellini, but it's the bourbon. You know, it's the peach crown that gives it a little more little grown lady feeling. You know, but I can't wait to try it though because the peaches are.
So my address is
right.
I know, right?
Or you need to meet us in the Discord after this so she could put the official recipe.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it in there because it's in my text.
Put that on the good grief because here's the thing.
Why not?
We drink.
I mean,
we drink. I mean, come on, it's
right. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
So I was saying all that to say, you know, I'm gonna be honest, but I love that. I feel like from your comments that you all feel safe to say even what you might feel is maybe different or maybe not common or whatever. I don't know. Cause I know sometimes, again, I have felt with my grief that I'm a weirdo or, you know, I can't believe I'm crying over this or whatever. But I feel like we all come here and feel safe to share how we feel and to share some coping mechanisms, recipes, you know, laughs and giggles, whatever. And I love that about this space that we have here. It's beautiful. And some of you said, I'm glad you found this channel and you love it here. We do too, right? So I'm so happy that we're here together and that you will, because that's the point. You know, the three of us could have, you know, chat in a text, right? But that's why I'm glad we're here together and that we can all be together and find the comfort and the support, the grace, so that we can walk another day and the next day and the next day. And if we feel like we need something, we're back here on Friday and we can get revved up for the next day and the next day. So I thank everybody for being here. This is definitely a blessing to us all. And as always, I know STL is probably sick of me saying thank you, but again, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here from all of us. Thank you from all of us that we're here to get together in your space and in this stream every week. It is more than I could have ever imagined. When we first talked about it, I knew it would be well received and I knew it was needed, but to see the love and to see the comments, the healing, the connections that some of you are making with each other is more than I could have even imagined. So thank you for this space.
Listen, it's our space. It's not my space. It's our space. The Lion's Den is for the pride, PRIDE, this pride, us, you, me, we all. And I appreciate you all for taking me up on that. I want to say this, and it may help somebody or not, I don't know. But just on the topic that you selected today, I want to say I can relate to so many things that each of you have said in the chat. I remember I brought my mother home on hospice. That was a different scenario. I purchased I rented where I was because I had a location down the street where my mother could stay literally in steps distance away from me. So that was peace of mind for me. But something about bringing her home and her passing away in my home, which was not anything negative by any stretch of the imagination. I'm so glad she was able to come home and spend her final days with me. Yeah. But when I think about it, it was like my purpose for that location was really because it provided that opportunity for me to be close to my mom and my mom to be close to me. Then when she passed away at the house, it took a long time for me to mobilize to be able to even throw her medicine bottles away. I mean, and there were tons of them everywhere. You walked in the room, that's all you saw almost was medicine bottles here, there, and everywhere. She had, when you talked about your mom's slippers and the Daniel Greens, I saw. Yes. And I remember when the mothers were wearing those shoes, baby.
You know it.
You had some Daniel Green slippers. But she came home in some boots that were special made for her because she had, what is it? When you have diabetes and you don't have the feeling in your feet, I can't think of the name of that, neuropathy, really, really bad. And so she had the special made boots that they actually made for her and sent her home in. Those boots sat in that spot. I could not move them. I could not move those boots. I took them off her feet when we first brought her home. And she was only in my house for 3 days before she passed away. But when I first brought her home, I took those boots off, set them next to the bed, could not move those boots, and didn't move them until I actually moved away. But I will say this, my mother's passing did open me to the idea of moving away. Otherwise, I don't think I would have ever left Kansas City. I've been in Kansas City all my life. And if my mother had been in Kansas City, I'm sure I would have been in Kansas City. I wasn't going anywhere. And it wasn't even a thought. I had people that would tell me, Regina, you should move here. You should move there. And I was like, I just wasn't feeling that. But once she passed away, it was like, number one, that house was no longer my home and I didn't fit there, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Not because she passed away in my home. It just, that home had no more purpose for me and it just wasn't home. So, at that point, it was almost like her coming home, her passing away, and all of that was a release for me to go on to the next leg of my journey. Concept and idea that my sister wanted and was contemplating moving to Texas, that kind of spurred me a little bit to open myself up a little bit and say, hey, but I knew the thing that was holding her back, she didn't want to leave myself and my other sister. So I knew that was a factor as well. So when I talked with my other sister and we were open to the idea of relocating, she was like, oh, that's just wonderful because I didn't want to leave you guys. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a domino effect that was put in motion. But I will say that there was a small element of, I don't know if I'm going to call it fear, but I'm gonna call it fear of the unknown. What would it be like not being in Kansas City with all the people that I know, with all the people that I'm familiar with, and just picking up and going to a brand new place where I know nobody. And I think I shared with you, I ended up the street and around the corner, there's somebody that I do know that just happens to be here, which is just crazy. And I'm in a town named Anna, which was my mother's name, which it was like my uncle said, oh, is your mother calling you? It's like, hey, on my way to Anna. But I just want to say that I do feel like that change, which was huge for me, and I feel like her demise really put all of this in motion. Otherwise, I'd still be where I was. But that change, even though it felt odd, it felt unusual, it felt even a little bit of fright and fear with it as to what to expect. It put my feet on the trajectory to this change, which has been absolutely marvelous. It's been marvelous for me. It released my sister. It released. So, it's like there's so many things that one action put the domino in effect, and boom, 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 for not just myself, but everybody in my family. So anybody that's kind of in that position where you're kind of toying with the transition onto the next phase, and that little bit of, I don't want to let go of the past, but it's like, it's time to move on into my future. I have to say, this has been a really, really good move for me. And I just want to share that.
I needed that. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I say I've seen a light in you in these last 2 weeks?
Yeah,
that I've
for
not
sure.
seen. So I could tell physically that there's been a lifting.
Yes.
So, amen.
Thank you.
I see it too.
Thank
Yep,
you.
I see it too.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's beautiful, and it's a great testimony for me personally. I will say that, and again, I know some of you out there needed that too. You needed that kick, that inspiration, and seeing someone who we know and love sharing that and doing. I've been trying to do something for the longest time, right? And it's the fear. So I know it's hard. We have these desires and thoughts, and to see someone admit that there was a little hesitation, a little trepidation, but still the desire, because I have the desire to make some changes, right? But and just like STL said, I knew, I didn't necessarily want to be in that house, but but just again, that little bit of, as she said, for lack of better word, fear.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of us out there, some of you out there like me, needed to hear that, needed that inspiration to take that step. Yeah, because just like STL, I mean, like Kim said, you look different. You look like a light, right? That could be us too, y'all. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
It could be you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess we should wrap up. And we'll be in the Discord for a little bit after we leave the stream. So if you want to come to Discord and chit chat or listen in, please do. Thanks everybody for being here. The road to light, we are on it. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for being on this journey with us. And thanks for coming here. I think it's, I appreciate you all coming here and trusting us with your hearts and your thoughts and the comments that you share. So we appreciate you. And as I always end, find the joy in something every single day. You're worth it and you deserve it. And I'll see you all soon.
And I'll just end with, as STL would say, peace, and I add grace for your grief journey.
Yes.
See y'all at the Discord. Have a great weekend, everybody.